This is what I was talking about in terms of social groups and all. You have multiple groups and all, and you cannot be available everywhere. You cannot have 20 best friends, contrary to what I see a lot of college kids having nowadays. You cannot have 20 best friends because you cannot be available for 20 people at the same time. You have to give the right expectations to people. So if there is an exam during November or December, I cannot go for a trip before that. I cannot be available in all the functions, events or whatever before that. Even if my close friends are having birthdays, I'm not going to be available for that. And I've skipped those kind of things during college, and you have to be, and if they are truly your friends, they'll understand. Another problem that happens is people start mocking you for you being too serious or doing good, etc. But ultimately, none of my friends come and pay my bills today. I have really good friends who can pay my bills if I want and if I need help. But if I ask for that every month, they're gonna vanish. Obviously, everybody's got a lot of responsibilities to take care of, right? It does not work that way. You will have to work towards building your career. And thankfully, I had a very good set of people around me where most of them were driven and we had relatively alignment of what we were doing. It was not that big a challenge as such. But again, there were places where I want to participate in events and college activities and all of that. And most of them are not wanting to. You'll have to be comfortable going for those events alone, even if your friends are not going. First of all, give right expectations to people as to what you want to do, what is your target. So I have an exam May, June. I don't care about the world in the month of March, April, May. But the moment May or June is over, I remember every day 10 o'clock we used to go for a movie because the prices were very cheap in the morning. Immediately after college, we would be in the movie theater. Every day, every single movie we used to watch in the theater. Now it's become so rubbish that I barely see like 2 movies in a theater a year. And earlier it used to be 2 a week. But there was no movies, there was no going out, etc. for 3 months. But then again, for 1 month, I'm out every day. And then again, 3-4 months again, you're kind of working towards your exam or however your timelines are working out. So you have to give the right expectation also at home. So at home, I'm not helping as such. I've never been helping much at home. I've not been helping as such, even getting grocery or something at times that you have to. I'm still out of that. And you have an exam, you're studying for like 8 hours, 10 hours. Obviously, nobody's going to ask you to lend a hand. So you have to be very clear in terms of giving the right expectations. There is a holiday that people are going. I'm not a party to it. If my sister's coming over to stay for a vacation, still I'm not available. You have to be very rigid, very firm, and people around you have to be a little supportive and they have to understand that. But if you are going to be working very hard, people will also start contributing. If I'm the one who's going to be loitering around and doing nothing and then you expect people to support you, that's not going to happen. You have to first value your own time well, and only then people will start valuing your time. So you have to understand that. You have to be very firm, very rigid, very disciplined. So you have to be, at times I was rude and I'm okay with it because I have to prioritize my time. I have to be very stingy with my time, that I'm not going to be wasting time everywhere. And it's not that I did not enjoy college time, but there was a time to enjoy. There was a chunk of time where I'm studying seriously. There's a chunk of time where I'm enjoying it, and I would participate in all sorts of events and all the management fest events, etc. So it is not that I'm just studying and doing nothing else apart from that during college. So you got to balance, you got to manage that. Social media during my college time, I think we had Facebook. Obviously, I'm not ancient, but we had Facebook, but I never liked checking in, or I never had those posts. I remember one photo that was there on Facebook. I did not have a single photo of mine on Facebook. And I remember the first one was a Sheldon Cooper photo, which I had put up because I did not want to post my picture and all that, because a lot of people are commenting, pinging, etc. I did not want to waste my time on that. And I was not comfortable. In fact, even after my college and after I started working, I did not post anything on social media. It is only once I started teaching and I understood that I have to be in touch with students and I can share what I'm reading, etc. And of course, you get more matured with time. Then I started posting and sharing my thoughts or something in terms of being connected, because I was doing corporate trainings also. I started very early, immediately after college, and I had people who wanted to stay in touch. So that's where the social media thing happened. But during college, I was not wasting my time on social media. But today it's different. You have Instagram. I don't think we had Instagram during I was in college. You have a lot more of social media, but you have to be very careful in terms of not being misused by the social media. You have to use social media to your advantage in terms of having access to anybody and everybody that you want to grab a piece of somebody's mind. That is how you use social media. Make sure you watch the movie Social Dilemma. So even when I teach fintech in class, I always mention, and all the things that have been mentioned in that movie Social Dilemma, it's a documentary movie, but it's a movie, not like a boring documentary. Everything is true. From what I've seen, from what I've taught and everything in terms of fintech and AI, ML and all that, it's absolutely true. Only they have put like a hologram or something for showing the AI in that documentary, but other than that, everything is absolutely accurate. So don't get misused or used by the social media. So keep that as an advantage. TV series also, I see students binge watching and wasting too much time, just too much time, and on YouTube, etc. also. You'll have to have that firm willpower in terms of saving that kind of time. Because see, you have to understand in that 3 years, 4 years, 5 years that you're going to study, 10, 12 marks is fine. Today, nobody is going to be bothering about my 10 and 12 marks on my resume. Of course, it matters if I'm looking at a college admission and then the 10, 12 college marks, etc. all becomes a part of the criteria. But when I'm in college, the studies, the education that you're going to do with college and maybe another couple of years after college, that is what is going to kind of define your career and be the stepping stone in terms of your career as you move forward. So that way it becomes very important. I know there are people who've made their lives, like a KFC example some may give me, that he started at 60 or something. So okay, don't do anything till 60, sit at home. In that case, that's fine. So you can't extrapolate 1 out of a 1 million people and say that is what is going to happen with me. You don't extrapolate outliers. You don't take an example of 1 out of those lakhs. And what also happens is that you see all those stupid quotes on social media wherein Steve Jobs was a college dropout and therefore your education is not important. So again, you take 2 samples, you take 1 lakh people who are educated, 1 lakh people who are not educated, and then you compare the averages and you want to copy that part of Steve Jobs where he dropped out of college, but you don't want to copy that aspect where he used to sit for calligraphy classes where he was not even enrolled for those subjects. So he was studying more than what he was supposed to study while at college. But that you don't want to copy. You want to copy only a part of it where he is a dropout. So if you selectively copy, and if you think that that is going to work in favor of your career, then go ahead, do that. I mean, you're understanding the idea. These are the things. This is how social media also negatively impacts you. It is very important that you understand what is the reality and how to go about it. And 20s are going to have a lot of uncertainty. What is your college? What education you're going to get? What will be your work profile? Which city will you live in? What will be the standard of living you will have? Everything is kind of uncertain in your 20 to 30. But as you approach your 30s, who will be your life partner? Everything's get more or less sorted by the end of 20s. 20s is not that just drinking away and partying away to glory. It is not like that. There is a lot of responsibility that is in your 20s in order to make your life very good in the long term. Think about it. I'm sounding very serious, but of course it's not that way. I mean, you have 24 hours a day, you'll be sleeping for 8 hours, you'll be working, college, etc. for 8-10 hours or so. You still have time to enjoy, but it has to be responsible. It has to be what you enjoy and the way you enjoy. You have to be very clear about it, because most of the students, not students, but most of the people I see, they're trying to enjoy in the way somebody else enjoys. They're not enjoying the way I would enjoy myself. You're understanding the idea. TV series and all, again, watch the right stuff. In fact, I remember that time when I was in college, we did not have Netflix. We used to have so many series and all saved on hard drives, and all the friends, and we used to exchange those hard drives and all. And I remember that, okay, if I've completed this much chapter by this hour, then I'm going to watch 1 episode of Friends while eating. Otherwise not, just when you're close to the exam. So those episodes used to be like a bribe to complete a certain chunk, that concentrate, complete up to this much. Not that you're studying for 3 hours. You complete this much and then you get 1 episode. That is how we used to watch those TV series. But again, the timing and the amount of content we used to consume would be quite responsible. I don't think our parents would regulate that you cannot watch more TV right now or go and study. They would never say that, because we were responsible, me, my friends, all of us. We were responsible ourselves, because ultimately it's my exam and my career. What my standard of living will be, my career will be, my success will be, or how my job will be, or how my education will be, that's all dependent on me. Parents cannot force me to study now at this age. You have that responsibility, because even if somebody is forcing you to sit with a book for a few hours, and if your concentration is so bad, ultimately there will be no output. So you have to take decisions based on that. And you cannot make comparisons. You can't compare in the sense that he is doing this, so I'm going to do that. He is doing that. Or this guy is over here. This guy has gone out of India to study. I'm not being able to do that. Don't make those comparisons. You have to evaluate your situation, your likes and dislikes, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Even I had to evaluate. There are certain things I was not good at. So I need to make a choice in terms of my career based on my strengths, in terms of education as well as in terms of my profession, my career. With CA, I realized that taxation is not something that I would like ever. Law and audit is also not for me. I realized that finance is something. I was good at accounts, I was good with cost, I was enjoying all that. But I understood that finance is all I want to do. It is absolutely extremely interesting and I enjoy it. You get that calling, you do those things to understand what you want to do. Based on that, you cannot compare with somebody else and decide your likes and dislikes. I cannot compare myself with influencers, because I don't have the time to dance around and do all sorts of rubbish, because I'm studying, I have a class to teach, I'm consulting, I'm doing my work, and all that I post or I share on social media is just a byproduct of my experience, my thoughts, my reading, my learning, my work, my knowledge. It's just a byproduct of it. I'm not full-time creating content to get audience and all of that. So comparison is not going to help you, because there are certain areas where you are putting in more effort or you're giving in more time. Others might be giving more time to something else. So everybody will have their own priority. Somebody might have a lot of priority towards organizing a college event or college fest. There are people who would have more priority given to the college exam or something. You can't compare with everybody. You have to decide what you need at what point of time. That way you can't compare.